Hello and welcome to this session. I am Raghav, and in this session we are going to learn step by step from scratch how to create and run SOAP API in REST Assured. We will also see how we can get a request body of the API from a file, and then finally how we can get and validate our XML response. So let's get started, and the first step here is we will create a class in our project. So I will go to my Eclipse, and here is the project that we have been creating, rest assured project. I will expand this, and here I will go to src test java folder, and I will go to the tests folder, and I can create a new file here. So I will do a right click and say new and create a new class, and I will name this as soap xml request and say finish. So I have created a very simple class here. I will press Ctrl plus on my keyboard to increase the font, and I hope now you can see it properly. So I have just created a class as of now. Now step number 2 is I will create a function and then annotate that function with the @test annotation that is coming from testng. So I will go inside the class and say public void, and I will say validate soap XML and a start curly bracket and a end curly bracket. So I have created a very simple function here, and now I will annotate it with the annotation @test, and this should come from testng. So if I hover over this, I should be getting it from this org.testng.annotations, and you can see this is now imported here. So we are done with step number 2. Step number 3 is we have to add the base URI which comes from rest assured library. So I will say here inside the function, I will say rest assured. I can press Ctrl spacebar on my keyboard for auto suggestion, and I can say dot base URI. So you can see I am also getting this auto suggestion box. Just in case you do not see this, you can always press Control and spacebar key combination, or if you are on Mac you can press Command spacebar and you should get this. So I will say base URI. Now in case you do not want it this way and you want a static import, you can also do it as a static import. So I can say here import static io.restassured dot and I will say base URI. And now after I do this, I do not need to provide the class rest assured here. I can directly use base URI, and this is what I have mentioned here as well. If you static import the base URI, you can directly use the base URI. And here I need to give the base URI or the location of our SOAP API. So for here, let me show you an example of a SOAP API that I'm going to test here. I will go to Google and search for sample SOAP web service for testing. In case you have your own web service, you can use that. And here I have a lot of web services. Let me check this. That is calculator web service, and here is the web service, and it has all these requests. We have add, divide, multiply, subtract, and if I go to add, you can see this is the request for add, and this is how we will get the response. So this is our add API, a SOAP API in the calculator web service. If I go here to the service description, it will open the WSDL of the web service, and here is the WSDL. And just in case you want to parse and check the requests from the WSDL, you can get a Chrome extension. If you go to your Chrome extensions or web store, there is an extension called Whistler, and if you search for Whistler here, this is the extension, and if you see on my Chrome, this is it is added here. So it is here Whistler, and it is used to browse WSDL, and it will become active only when you have a WSDL on your browser. So if I click this, it will show me all the requests. If I click on add, it shows me the request for the add request or add API here. So for now, I will go back to the calculator web service and go to add, and here this is the URI. I will just copy this URI from here and give it here. So just copy and paste this URI here, and then after this, step number 4 is I will provide the headers and the body by using the given statement. So I will say rest assured dot given, and just in case I do not want to use the rest assured here, I can go here in the import statement and I can do a static import for given. I will say import static io.restassured dot given, and now I do not need to provide this here. I can directly say given, and this is what I have mentioned here as well. For static import of given, you can use this. So there is a correction, it is not base URI, it is given here, and this is what you use here. So after this, I can say I can add the headers, the content type and the body. So I will say given dot, and I will say content type, and the content type I am giving to the server is text XML. So you can see this is going to be a XML request that I am going to send to the server, and then I can put it in a new line for easy readability, and then I can say dot accept. So what is the content type I want to accept? So again I can say text XML, or I can also just mention here content type dot XML. So I am saying that the content I am passing to the server is of XML type, and I also want to accept a response of type XML, and then I can give the body. So I can say here body. So this should be body here. I will say body, and now I have to give this body, that is the request body of the add API. Now I can give it as a string here, or a better way is I can actually put this in a file and then can refer the file here. So this is what we are going to learn, that is how to get request body from a file. Here step number 1 is I can create a file with XML extension and then put the request body there. So I will just go on my desktop. You can create at any location on your system. I will create a new text file, and I will say this is add.xml, and I will save this. So you can see I have just created a file called add.xml, and let me open this in some editor. I will open in Notepad++, and I just have to add this request body. I can just copy from here, or I can also copy from here that I have got using the Whistler extension. So both will work. I'm going to copy this here, and here instead of this int I can add some values. Let us say 2 here and 3. So these are the two integers, and in the response we will get the addition of these two integers. So save this, and now I have created this file, and I have also copied the request body and saved the file, and then I have to get the file in the code. So for that I will go to my code, and here at the top of this function I can write the code. So I can use file input stream. So I will say file input stream. If I press Ctrl spacebar, it should autocomplete and should also import this from java.io, and then I will say I can give any variable name. I'm just saying file input stream. You can give any variable name here, and equals to new file input stream. I will again press Ctrl spacebar for auto completion, and here I have to give the location of the file. So I can say here I can first get the file using the file class. I will say file and the variable file equals new file, and I have to give the path of the file here. So here I have to mention the path of this file name. So I can either just copy the entire path of this file, the entire location, or a better way is I can put this within my project. So even if I take my project to some other system, the file goes along with me. So I'm going to my project folder, do a right click, and I will create a new folder. I will say this is SOAP request, and in this folder I will copy this file. I can also drag and drop like this, and I will say copy, and you can see the file has come here within my Eclipse project. And now I can also give a relative path. So I can say here, I can say dot and forward slash. If you are on Windows, you can also use double backslash, but this will fail or this will break if you are on Mac or other systems. So it's better to give a forward slash, which will work on Windows as well. And I can give the folder name, and I can do this because this folder is within the main project folder. So this is the folder name SOAP request, and the file name is add.xml, and this file variable now I can use here, and a colon. So this is fine. And then I should also get the request body as string, and for that we can use the IOUtils class that comes from the Apache Commons. So this is coming from Apache Commons. So just in case you do not have this, you can first get this POM dependency. So what I will do is I will go to my Maven repository. I will go to Maven Central or the Maven repository, and here I will search for Apache Commons, and here this is coming. This is the Apache Commons library. I will get this and get the latest version, and I'll just copy the POM dependency or the Maven dependency from here that I can copy in my pom.xml. So I will go to my pom.xml here and copy this, and I can press Ctrl A and Ctrl I for formatting, and then Ctrl S, and this will download all the required libraries. And now I can go back to my class, and now I can say here, I can say string request body or any variable name equals IOUtils. So I will say string request body. This is just a variable request body. You can use anything here, equals to IOUtils. Now if I press Ctrl spacebar on my keyboard, you can see now it is coming from Apache Commons. And I will say this, and then I will say toString, and I will say here, I will use this toString, and here I will use the file input stream, and this is the encoding. So the general encoding we use is UTF-8. Just in case your API is using something else, you can use that, and that's it. And this is done. So we have done this, and then I can also add a code to check the file. So before that, let me just copy this variable in the body here. So now we are passing the body from the file, and just to make sure that this file exists and I do not proceed forward without making sure that this file actually exists, I can also add a code here. I can say if, I'll say if file, which is this variable, and I will say dot exist or file dot exists, then I will just print out I will say file exists. So for print statement, what I have done is I have just typed SYSO and then I pressed Control spacebar on my keyboard, and this will auto complete the sysout statement or the print statement, and then in the brackets within the quotes I'm saying file exists. Now in case it does not exist, then in the else statement you can actually throw an exception, but for now I will keep it very simple. So I have also added the code here. So if file exists, then we can print something, and if it does not, then we can throw some exception. So we have done step number 4, where we have given the content type, header and body, and now step number 5 is we can now send our request as post. So here I will say here dot, and then I will say when, and again dot, and then I will say post, and here I have to give the endpoint. So the endpoint here is, if I go to my request again, you can see here the endpoint here is this calculator.asmx. I can copy from here, or you can also see it here. This is the endpoint calculator.asmx. So I will add this here, and then this will send our request, and then we should be able to get the response. So then step number 6 is we can add the expected conditions, and we can also do the response validation. So I can say here, after this I will say dot, and then I will say then control spacebar for auto completing, and then I can say here status code, and what is my expected status code? It should be 200. I can put this in a new line for easy readability, and I can put a semicolon to stop the statement. And there is some issue here. If I go here, it is asking me to add a throws declaration or surround with try catch. So let me just add throws declaration here, and it will add a throws declaration here. So let me expand this and show you. This is our complete class. I will save this, and I will do a right click, run as testng test, and make sure the testng option you will get only after you have added the testng plugin in Eclipse and then have restarted your Eclipse. We have learned this all in the earlier sessions. So this is now running, and yes, you can see everything looks fine, and it was all fine. We are also getting file exist, and it was a valid SOAP XML. Now we can also add some more features. So just to log the response, I can say .log .all. So this will also show me the response in the console. If I run it again, let me check. So yes, now you can see it is also giving me the response, and it is giving me the result as 5. So this is the add result, which is 5. I hope this was very useful for you, and you can do some hands-on along with this video. If you have any issues, any doubts, you can let me know, and I will try to answer you as soon as I can. I will meet you in the next episode. Thank you for watching.